Violence against women on UK trains have risen by 50% in 2 years. We're going to read into this more from The Guardian, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from The Guardian with the headline of Violence Against Women on UK Trains has risen by 50% in 2 years. The number of sexual offences have risen by 10% and reports of sexual harassment has doubled to 1,908, figures have shown. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share it across social media so others are notified of this video. And that's not even counting those that have not been reported as well, because there are also, you have to also understand that while there are these figures here, but not every single sexual assault, not every single attack is also reported. However, luckily, most trains now do have CCTV footage, so that when incidences are occurring, they can be spotted. Not all trains, yes, I know. Some areas, some train lines, train companies don't have CCTV footage on them, which they should do. But there has been, over the past decade or so, there has been vast improvements to some of the trains that are being used around the UK. I'm not talking about in terms of service. I'm talking about in terms of from a CCTV point of view. But even that being aside, the very fact that people, women especially, just don't feel safe being on the train by themselves. They should feel safe about being on the train. They should feel should be okay. They shouldn't feel the need to be vulnerable. They shouldn't need to feel scared. They shouldn't need to feel worried because they're on public transport. But this rise in 50 years, there's a lot of factors you could take into this. You could say it's it could be down to a many combination of things. It could be the rise in crime. It can be down to the cost of living crisis. It could be down to, once again, men not being educated on how to treat women. There's a lot of factors that play into this, and again, men need to do better, because this is just not good enough. We have a lot of men, unfortunately, that simply do not want to treat women as equals and simply see them as objects, and who simply just cannot control themselves downstairs, I think is another thing to say as well. Yeah, this has got to stop. This has got to stop. And considering some of the horrific murders and rapes that have occurred over the past several years recently, and yes, of course, this can go back further, I know, I'm sure people will remind me in the comments, that this should not have to happen. It should not have to feel worried. And what's even worse is that many women just don't trust the police as well, because there's been confidence has been broken within the police force over the last several years as well, and decades. So this could actually be, like I said at the start, this could actually be a lot worse. More needs to be done. That is for sure. So let's read a bit more into it. So violence against women and girls on British railways have risen by more than 50% over 2 years, according to official figures. The number of crimes against women and girls rose from 7,561 in 2021 to 11,357 in 2023. And the number of sexual offences rose 10% from 2,235 to 2,475, according to a survey commissioned by the British Transport Police. The survey, first reported in The Times, also found the number of sexual harassments reported doubled to 1,908 over a 2-year period. I think it's just a reminder of the fact that we've got this issue of violence against women and girls that isn't going away with anything. It's getting worse, said Anna Birley, the co-founder of Reclaim These Streets, which organises the London vigils of Sarah Everard, 33, who was killed by the police officer Wayne Couzens in 2021. I want to be clear. I think there is also an increase in violence against women and girls. That's VAWG. I don't think it's a simple case of increased reporting, Birley told BBC Radio 4 Today programme, adding that looking at reporting crimes across different police networks, there have been an increase in vague VAWG in every police area, not just British Transport. A British Transport Police survey released last year revealed more than a third of all women commuting by rail were likely to be assaulted, predominantly during rush hour, according to figures, and showed 51% of female victims reported that other rail passengers intervened to try and help. The figure comes as The Guardian revealed that the identities of 50 women allegedly killed at the hands of men so far in 2024 as part of a year-long project documenting violence against women. Ministers in the new Labour government have already pledged to halve its violence against women and girls within a decade, as police forces are still being damaged by a funding crisis and courts across England and Wales face a backlog of cases and a collapse in rape prosecutions. Before coming into power, Labour pledged to establish 80 new rape courts across England and Wales to fast-track cases as part of a wide-ranging plans to tackle violence against women and girls. Last month, official police figures revealed the number of record offenders, including stalking, harassment, sexual assault and domestic violence, had grown by 37% in the past 5 years, leading police chiefs to label it a national emergency. Yep. Do we see this on the front pages of the newspapers highlighting just how big of an issue this is? No, you don't. It's not talked about enough. In a debate last month, Yvette Cooper, the Home Secretary, said, "For far too long, violence against women and girls has been treated as an inevitability rather than a national emergency that it is. Our mission for the whole country is to halve violence against women and girls within a decade. That has to start with drastically improving the policing and criminal justice response." Burley expressed her confidence in Jess Phillips, the Minister for Safeguarding and Violence Against Women and Girls. The Labour MP has long criticised the former Conservative government's inaction against the rising issue, including reading a list before Parliament of women killed by men or where the man is the principal suspect in the UK over the past 9 years. And I do believe that the Conservatives have sat on their laurels on a lot of this recently. I do think that has been. That's not to say that Labour don't have skeletons in their closet over this year during their time in government in the past as well. But considering if someone I do believe that will keep on top of this is Jess Phillips. And I do have to stress, yes, I know Labour should be doing more. Yes, you can make the arguments that this government should be doing more. Yeah, but they have only been in for more than a month. I can understand the criticism of them saying they need to do more. But like I've always said, let's see after 100 days, let's see how things are going. I generally do hope that they can crack down on this, and it's not just a case of just prosecuting and catching men who are doing this. It's about education. It's about the education and rehabilitating and for these men and young boys who do these to understand, to be told and understand that they cannot do this and it's not acceptable. This is just as much as an educational thing as it is about catching these people. I feel confident that solutions aren't new ones that don't need a reinventing, said Burley, adding that the problems that was despite an increase in reporting into violence against women and girls over recent years, they sit on a shelf and nothing happens. What I'm hoping for is seeing real action, real investment in seeing that the government puts in place measures that we all know are needed, she says. Yeah, and I hope so too. I really hope so too. More needs to be done without a shadow of a doubt. Violence against women and girls is unacceptable in any way, shape or form. But violence in at all is unacceptable, but especially against women and girls, more needs to be done, guys. I think we couldn't. I don't think there is anything, any kind of comfort whatsoever in this. Now, obviously, it says the UK, so I can't speak for individual nations on England, Wales, Scotland specifically, but this is what it is stating in the UK. And it is a massive issue, and it is a scandal, and it is a crisis, and it's a crisis that needs to be dealt with as soon as possible. And those who do it need to face full wrath of the law, essentially, because they need to understand that what they're doing is wrong and it's unacceptable. What do you guys think? What do you guys make of this recent figures of the rise by 50% in 2 years? Are you surprised by this number? Do you think Labour can get to grips with it? Do you think the Conservatives sat on their laurels with this? Or do you think it's not just politicians, it's the police and criminal justice system that have let women and girls down? Is it just as much a society problem as well? Let me know your thoughts and more about all of this in the comment section down below. If you found this video interesting, please hit the like button, greatly appreciated. Share this across social media so others are notified of this video. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please consider subscribing because it really does help. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.